It's the Royal Canadian Air Force's largest and most complex international training event of the year. In its 50th iteration, Maple Flag is an advanced aerial combat exercise involving more than 1,600 Canadian Armed Forces members and more than 500 allied military personnel. Split between 2 periods of 2 weeks each, the goal is to prepare the participants for present and future conflicts. It's launch time at Four Wing Cold Lake, where Canadian and Allied forces are taking off for their mission. It's all part of Maple Flag, a large force employment exercise held annually for the Royal Canadian Air Force and international counterparts to prepare them for real-world situations.
We have a scenario that sets the stage for participants to fly together into hostile territory, strike approved targets, and fight their way back home.
But injected into the scenario are live and simulated threats that use the latest in tactics, weaponry, and technology. They're also dealing with the peer-on-peer type conflict, meaning there's a fairly tough enemy air force out there, played mainly by CF-18 Hornets and contractor Alpha jets.
We typically send about 10 to 14 adversary jets, and we flow towards the east against blue air, trying to attempt to deny their ability to get to targets without having to target us out and practice their radar work.
Our portion of it is relatively scripted, so we fly that script to the best of our ability so that we maintain a consistent threat that the blue air can plan against, but it's still very dynamic.
And it's all to help those training refine their skills in a realistic and challenging operational environment.
It's very difficult to replicate with any type of realism what a real military operation looks like and feels like for the operator in terms of scale and complexity. And that's what Maple Flag provides.
Vital to this exercise is the integration piece. Hundreds of personnel from the United States, France, Belgium, the UK, and Singapore are taking part, along with multiple aircraft, and training together is a big advantage.
Once you arrive in theater to conduct real operations and you are partnering with allied countries, you've worked with some of these people before, and so you know to trust them.
We're all working in the same airspace, in the same area of operation, so it becomes critical to make sure that, we're understanding what each nation needs to operate effectively and safely.
Only adding to the value of Maple Flag is the venue. The exercise takes place primarily inside the Cold Lake Air Weapons Range, a vast area of land over 13,000 square kilometers.
You can fly supersonic and low level. It's got more than 600 targets that can be used for all sorts of training.
As for the participants, the exercise just enhances their state of readiness for future missions. Maple Flag wraps up on June 23rd. Well, back at home, City Administration is currently reviewing traffic bylaws. They're looking at potentially lowering speed limits to make our streets safer. The city will be looking for input from residents as they seek further direction on speed limits in residential areas, which, unless otherwise posted, is 50 kilometers.
Because I think we can say that people that have had an accident in the community will say, yeah, we're traveling too fast potentially, or someone injured in an automotive accident, whereas other people say, do you know how hard it is to get through the city at 5 after 5 in the afternoon? Both are very valid concerns.
Administration also brought forward to Council a road safety program called Vision Zero.
It's an injury reduction program that says any accident or death is one too many. And that's really what the program is focused on. I think anytime you're talking about safety, you're talking about injury reduction or reduction in fatalities, it's a fit for any community.
More information regarding Vision Zero will be brought forward for further review at the next City Council meeting on Monday. And the City of Lloydminster is still encouraging the public to fill out disaster tracking forms following severe rainfall earlier this month. At the next council meeting, administration will look for the go-ahead to apply for disaster recovery funding on behalf of residents. And the more forms, the better. To further prepare for potential flooding, the city has also applied for grants to upgrade the northwest drainage channel.
Can we get rid of all the water as fast as we'd like? No, but the proposed upgrades that we've requested funding for from the Alberta government will certainly help reduce the number of events or the chances of flooding.
While the grant would cover most of the $3 million cost for the upgrades, about 10% would be paid for by the city.
We would access money from our stormwater reserve to pay for those repairs because that's all part of what needs to be done.
City administration is waiting to hear back from the Alberta government about the grant for drainage upgrades. Well, back at home, we have two lovable animals who are up for adoption in this week's pet project. Agnes is a curious cat who also loves to cuddle, and Carmichael, a one-year-old pup with tons of energy. Here's John from the SPCA.
Although shy at first, Agatha is a cat full of love. This girl enjoys nothing more than snuggling up to someone and getting some much-needed love and attention. Agatha is also a very intelligent and observant girl. She enjoys sitting high in the cat condo and checking out her surroundings. After a long day of people watching, she'll cuddle up in her cat bed for a cat nap. Agatha is a beautiful girl that is sure to warm your heart the minute you meet her. Be sure to stop by the SPCA and say hello to this wonderful girl today. This ball of energy is Carmichael. Although a year old, Carmichael is very much a pup inside. Life is just one fun game and his energy is endless. Carmichael enjoys the simple things in life, like running, playing, and meeting new people. However, sometimes he gets so excited that he forgets his size and can jump up. Therefore, we recommend he go to a home with older children. Carmichael does need to work on his manners, but he just adores people and is willing to learn. With a little bit of patience, he will become an absolutely amazing dog. Be sure to stop by the SPCA and meet this handsome fellow today.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, it's been a tough year for the Northwest Prairie Pirates entering play Saturday. The team had only 2 wins on the season, but as Lance Phillips explains, a weekend series against Regina may have been just what the AAA squad needed.
Sometimes it just takes a little time for a team to come around. And for members of the Prairie Pirates, their hope is that time was this past weekend. An offensive outburst earned the team 25 runs over 2 games, while its pitching was outstanding, surrendering 7 runs over the same stretch.
We scored 15 runs this game. That doesn't happen very often in AAA baseball. And you're pitching holding to 4 runs, and I think it was 3 runs. It's a good day all around.
Honestly, it was the defense today. We made, I think, 9 errors in Saskatoon just in one game, and today I don't know if we made a whole lot, so that's a big part of us.
I was more impressed with the team effort as a collective on both sides of the baseball. I think we did really well defensively, on the mound, and offensively.
Offense has been an area of concern for the team for most of the season, but Saturday's production has reignited a belief in the team's offense.
We've played some tough teams with some good pitching. It just happens. Sometimes pitcher wins games for you, and today we were better than the pitcher.
There's a lot of guys on this team that aren't hitting great to start this year, but we all can hit the ball, and we just need to believe that we can do that.
The 2 weekend wins matched the total wins over the previous 13 games. The team also ended a 7-game losing streak, a trend they believe could mark a turning point in their season.
Absolutely, I do. We can see that we can win multiple games in a row, and we can hit the ball. Is really good.
I'd say they have to be honest. We haven't had a 2-win day this year, and we've only had a couple wins so far. So getting a couple wins under our belt should get us up and going.
I hope so. It's hard to say. I've said it before, but the hardest thing to do is put a consistent brand of baseball on the field. But this is definitely momentum, and we're going to use it to the best of our ability.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
Well, Sunday's final day of races in Dewberry proved to be very prosperous for Jamie Labacane, but for every driver's success and other struggles. In the case of the latter, it was a new face on the CPCA Pro Tour who didn't have the weekend he'd hoped for. First-year driver Louis Stanley posted decent time Friday and Saturday, but Sunday was another story. Stanley couldn't get his outfit through the barrels, forcing him to a 33rd place finish on his first weekend back on the track.
Overall, it was a good show. I really enjoyed it. It's just it just didn't go the way I wanted it to go. The horses were acting up a little bit. So.
Now, despite Sunday's difficulties, the 21-year-old was all smiles, reflecting on his first time in the wagon box Friday.
I was very nervous, gotta tell you right now. I was thinking more about the crowd and everything, so my mind wasn't really set on right. Yeah.
And that same crowd provided a lot of cheers for the rookies, something that didn't go unnoticed.
Well, it was good. It was good. I really enjoyed the crowd. They were very fun.
Stanley gets back on the track this weekend in Wainwright, matched in Heat 4 with Chris Molly and Gordon McCallum.